All right, welcome to the Clubhouse podcast, episode 5. It's me, Zach Priest, with my partner, Luke Sanderson, and our newest guest, the center fielder for the Salem Kaiser Volcanoes, JuanCarlos Abreu. Juan, how you doing, dude?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm solid. Can't complain. Ready for this 5th episode. Lucas, you feeling all right?
Dude, I'm ramped up. I'm always ready to go, Got a good week of baseball ahead of us.
Yeah, a couple of good weeks leading into this, too. Standings are getting super tight. Speaking of standings, the games last weekend, we had 2 series, as we do every weekend. The first series was Campesinos and the Senators. So, the Camps were just a half game out of first place heading into that series behind the Mavericks. And Camps were starting to play some really good baseball. And they had to take on the Senators, who were kind of on a little bit of a skid. But game 1 of that series ended up being a blowout. It was 14-5. The Senators' offense just exploded off of the Campesinos, who lost a lot of players going back to college this last weekend. So they lost some starting rotation arms.
An all-star, I think.
Yeah, lost an all-star. Arguably their best hitter,
Yep.
Alex Marquand. First game was 14-5. Wasn't the best showing from the Campesinos, and the Senators looked really solid, even though they were in 4th place going into that game. Game 2, another blowout, 15-2. Campesinos just, after that second game, it really didn't look like the Campesinos we had seen going into that series. Game 3 was interesting. So the Senators had taken a big lead. Camp slowly kind of chipped away. In the top of the 9th, though, the Senators, they put in Matt Jeffrey on their all-star relief arm with a sub-3 ERA. And all of a sudden, the Camps kind of started to hit him around a little bit. It was just base knock after base knock, a couple of walks. They just kept the line moving. They hung an 8 spot and brought the tying run to the plate in the top of the 9th. And Drew Bayard, was it a strikeout to end it?
Yeah, I think because he popped out, and then Edgar Vela dropped it, and we thought that was going to be like the moment where he hits a homer afterwards. But then Jeffrey got him out swinging, and it was a pretty good job by Jeffrey to stay in it and close it out.
Yeah. Juan, I know you watch a lot of these games. Did you see any of those 3 games for the Camps?
No, I didn't watch them, but I heard some stuff, and I was keeping up with those games. Yeah,
it was a pretty interesting series. Not how I expected it to really turn out.
I think Moser coming back, that was his return weekend. I think that was kind of the biggest thing for the Senators. It kind of helped them at the top of the lineup, having a guy like that. As we've seen some other lineups, the leadoff guy is really important. So I think that kind of helped them. And then the Campesinos, we talked about the guys they lost. And I think this weekend's crucial for them because they need to get back on top of it if they don't want to get left out of the playoff race.
100%. And they're taking on the Mavericks this weekend?
Yep.
Camps Mavericks, yeah. The second series last weekend was Volcanoes and the Mavericks. The Mavs were in first place, like we mentioned. And the Volcanoes, you guys were on a skid a little bit. I think you'd lost like 6 straight or something like that going into it, something crazy. Despite having 8 All-Stars. You guys had the most All-Stars in the league, and it just seemed like you were kind of hitting a little bit of a lull. But taking on first-place Mavericks, that game 1 was a nail-biter. You guys ended up losing 10-9. Did have the tying run on base in the top of the 9th, but could not plate it. Or I guess that was the bottom of the 9th, huh? You guys were home. Yeah. Game 2, the Volcanoes went out looking for revenge. Matt McDonald throws his 3rd complete game of the year, 2nd of 9 innings, but tosses a complete game, allowed 2 runs. You guys won 8-2. He threw 148 pitches. What was it like? Because you didn't play this weekend, right? Because you're injured this last weekend. What was it like being in the dugout, seeing pitcher go 9 or how did it feel to see your team out there?
It's kind of crazy because I'm used to, watching it from, center field and stuff like that. But just being in the dugout, actually like watching how his pitches move and like, how late people are on the pitches or just how like they're swinging and missing is just crazy how to see that actually on that side than being out in center field.
Yeah. And you got a pretty good angle too from center looking at the pitches, but it is different being in the dugout like that. So Matt McDonald goes 9 innings in Game 2. You guys win. Game 3 was the rubber match, and we were really excited for this one. It was Carsey Walker taking the mound for the Mavs, and then Jared Bell for the Volcanoes. It looked like it was going to be a pitching duel. I mean, Carsey went out and retired the first 8 straight.
Yeah, Bell got kind of touched up in the first 2, but then really settled in.
Yeah.
Really settled in.
Yeah, he ended up at one point retiring. Yeah, it was like 10 of 12 batters over 3 innings. It just fell into this groove, and it was just 0 after 0 on the scoreboard. You guys finally got Carsey Walker out of the game in the 7th or 8th. It's one of the 2.
Right around there.
Yeah. Right. This is where it went south for the Mavericks, basically.
That's all we know.
Carsey Walker exits. Bullpen comes in for the Mavericks, and just, Jake Trupp comes in, walks the first 3 batters, bases loaded, gets yanked. Bradley Thomas comes in and allows, I think it was an 8 spot in the 7th. Including a grand slam from Quentin Alexander. And that just capped off an 11-3 win, which really, if you take that inning out and it's a really tight game, and it was so tight going into that inning, and it was interesting, and in a way kind of a bummer to see it get broken open like that. I know me and Lucas were rooting for like a really close game going in late in the game.
We had it going, but I think that's the Volcanoes we've seen a few times where they have that one inning where they put up like 8, 10, 12 runs, and they're very capable of that. So it's dangerous for opposing pitchers because you can't let it snowball. Like we saw Trupp walk 3 guys. You cannot do that. That's how you start a bad inning like that.
Yep.
And Volcanoes did a good job capitalizing as well.
Yeah, capitalizing on mistakes, which I think during the little bit of the skid you guys were on was something that you weren't doing as much as you were earlier in the season, was capitalizing on mistakes. It's like you had maybe some opportunities that you couldn't quite finish off, but you did well against the Mavericks this last weekend. So I guess our first question from the series last week, do you see the Campesinos turning it around at all? I know they've got a new coach and everything, or do you see them just kind of maybe headed towards the bottom of the league?
For me, it's really about like the chemistry. So like, they lost a lot of their, their starters, their guys. So it just all comes down to like those guys that were on the bench that are now playing, or the new guys that are coming in, just having that chemistry. If they grow chemistry, and the new coach can figure something out, then I think they could probably make a run for it, because they're not a bad ball club. It's just like I said, that's just big chemistry.
Yeah, especially with a new coach coming in, it can be good or it can be bad with so late in the season. So what was the key, do you think, this last weekend for you guys taking 2 of 3 then from the Mavericks?
I just think it's so before, like when we were on our losing streak, we were just trying to speed up the game. Yeah. Like we were just trying to play it too fast. We were trying to do stuff that, like trying to amaze people and try to do stuff fast. I think what helped us is like we slowed down the game and we played it on our pace. And since we were able to play on our pace, and it made a lot of stuff more easier for us and more comfortable for us.
Yeah, I like that. What was it like having to sit out all weekend? I know you probably wanted to be out there, but
I mean, it kind of sucked, but I was just try to be out there and support my team, and try to help everybody out as I can, sitting on the bench, stuff like that.
I think we got a couple questions for you, Lucas. You want to start us off?
Yeah. So, where are you from? Where'd you play your high school ball growing up? What was your story like getting into baseball?
So I'm from Orlando, Florida. I went to school at Winter Springs High School, and my family, growing up, my family's always played baseball. So like, I'm gonna give you guys a little insider here. But
behind the curtain.
My second cousin is Pedro Martinez.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, growing up, watching him play, and then, obviously his brothers playing, and then my uncles and cousins playing, it's in our family to play baseball. So that's how I picked it up.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, because were you drafted out of high school?
Yeah, I was drafted out of high school.
Okay, I get. We were kind of curious about how that whole process works. Like how were you getting yourself scouted at such a young age? Was it through the connections or something, or whatever school you were at? How did that whole process kind of work?
So back in Orlando, there's a travel ball team called FTB. So it's like Florida Travel Ball Team, and back in the day, like they had players like Francisco Lindor, Javi Baez. They all played for that team. So like scouts would obviously, seeing those names, scouts are going to follow the travel ball team. So my class for FTB, we had our shortstop was Bo Bichette.
Wow.
So a lot of guys used to go out there, and a lot of scouts used to go out there and watch the games.
Yeah.
So like, I tell a lot of these young kids, and any opportunity you get, you just go out there and play. And that's pretty much what happened to me.
Yeah.
I went to go watch Bo, and then I did my job. I do what I have to do, and then scouts would just try to get my phone number and my emails and stuff.
Yeah, so the actual process of getting drafted, what was that like? Did you get a call? What was that whole process leading up to it, and how did it feel getting drafted?
So the process was pretty much, playing every day, playing summer ball, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
and then trying to find an advisor. As soon as
Okay.
I got my advisor, that's when scouts would call him and be like, hey, we want a home visit and stuff like that. They'll go to my house. They'll, ask me questions, obviously see how my family's doing and stuff like that. Then I would do a lot of, pre-draft workouts. So, I'll hit BP, run the 60s, do infield, outfield, and stuff like that. And then after that, draft day, it's pretty much that's where it gets, all crazy. Because you're just, you're sitting there, you're waiting for a phone call, you're negotiating money and stuff like that. So that's that's the crazy part of it all.
I guess, yeah, that's something we were interested in too. So it's televised at this point, right? But not all of the rounds. It's just the earlier rounds. Where were you kind of expecting to be drafted in, and how long did it take you? How many days was it after the draft? And then who called you from the organization?
So, when I was, before the draft, I was told I was supposed to go in the 4th or the 5th. But, it's in high school, we had a new high school coach, and, he would mess up our lineup. He wouldn't put me playing in the positions that I should be playing or batting order. So when scouts would go see the game, they'll be like, "Yo, is this, is Juan hurt, or why is he not batting where he's supposed to be batting?" So that kind of messed me up. So I ended up, instead of going the second day, I ended up going the third day. So the third day is it's televised, but it's not they're not showing the full thing there. It's pretty much they're just, it's on a live stream and your name pops up. My agent actually, it was the 21st round, and my agent called me and he was like, well, you had all these teams, but now it's down to 2 teams. It's the Dodgers and the Red Sox. Where do you want to go? And, me being me, growing up, my first game I watched baseball was a Red Sox game. I'm a Red Sox fan. So it was just you know what, spring training's in Fort Myers. I'm home.
Yeah.
Let me just get drafted by the Red Sox. I told him, and then the 22nd round passed, and then as soon as the 23rd happened, it called my name, and right there, that's when it happened.
That's crazy. What was that feeling like, finally getting that? Because you had to wait really an extra day at that point. So was it relief or what?
Yeah, at first it was at first I was kind of scared and nervous because obviously I was committed to FIU.
Oh, okay.
So I was supposed to go to FIU, and the day before the first day of the draft, the head coach at FIU got fired. And they took my scholarship away because he wanted me to go to that JUCO school.
Yeah.
So then, I literally went into the draft not having college or anything. Yeah. So I was nervous. I was like, yo, what's gonna happen next if I don't get drafted?
Yeah.
But as soon as my name got called and stuff like that, I was like, all right, it's a relief. Now, it's go time.
Yeah.
What was the college recruiting process like? What schools were talking to you? What schools were you looking at? Because that's a super interesting part for draft prospects like you.
So, obviously, playing with FTB, colleges, obviously they're gonna go watch the games and stuff like that. So there it was kind of easy for me there, but I had UCF, I had Florida State, I had Miami, I had Arizona State, I had LSU, but I wanted to stay home.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to stay home, and I wanted to go somewhere where I knew I wasn't gonna go by the name. A lot of kids go by these big school names. I just wanted to go somewhere where I know I was gonna play my first year.
Yeah.
And then that's where I chose FIU because. I got a full ride at FIU, and I knew I was going to play every day, and I was going to be in Miami, so I was close to home as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. So walk us through, you get the call that you're drafted. What are the next steps, immediately? Where do you end up having to go after that? What was that whole experience like right after the draft, I guess?
So as soon as I got drafted, the scout that actually drafted me or was looking at me called me, congratulated me and stuff like that. I literally probably stayed home for 1 week, and then the next week I was gone. I was straight to rookie ball.
Okay. Where was that?
Down
at?
in Fort Myers.
Okay. Oh, so you were close.
Yeah, I was down in Fort Myers. So then after there, you go through a physical, they check you out and stuff like that, make sure nothing's wrong with you, and then you're able to play, and then they just throw you in the war. After that, you're just playing.
So was that the start of rookie ball that season, or was it kind of already mid-season, or how does that work? I don't know when rookie ball starts.
It was the start of rookie ball.
Okay.
I probably only missed maybe 3 games.
Okay.
So yeah.
Did you go right into the starting lineup, or?
The first day I came in as a pinch hitter.
Okay.
I think I hit a fly out second base. I think so. And then the second day, obviously, I played, and I think I went 1 for 3.
There you go.
I believe so.
That's crazy.
So 2018, it looks like, is when it really started to pick up for you. What was that like for you, finally getting some real success and some notoriety in the minor league game? And then what adjustments did you make before that season that really paid off?
So it's, obviously I was a high school kid going into pro ball, playing men. So it was I literally see 100 miles an hour and I didn't know where they were throwing it. So it was
crazy.
That was hard for me. And my first year I couldn't hit an inside pitch to save my life. That's all they would throw me, and I'll swing or miss, or I'll swing or miss, or I hit a pop fly. So in the off season and the spring training, I just worked on that inside pitch, and then that's what gave me the success. To hit the inside pitch, or because they weren't gonna beat me outside.
Yeah. So
all I really would have to work on was that inside pitch.
That's crazy. So you mentioned spring training. Is there different levels of that? Was there rookie ball spring training, stuff like that?
So pretty much for spring training, we're all together. So
Okay, so the whole
you're
organization?
with
Wow.
AAA guys. You run into some major league guys. There'll be days where I'll be when he was there, I'll be practicing with Mookie Betts some
That's
days,
crazy.
and then I'll be hitting in the cage and Hanley Ramirez will be there and Pablo Sandoval and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool at the time.
Did any of those major league guys kind of give you some tips or mentor you guys?
I was really really cool with Hanley Ramirez.
Okay.
Because at the time, I had that high leg kick just like him.
Mhm.
So he would always watch me hit, and he'll give me tips hey, maybe sometimes when there's harder pitchers, maybe shoring up your leg kick, or 2 strikes, don't do it as much as you would do it with no strikes and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's just so wild. So going through, you started out in rookie ball. What was the highest level you got to, and what were, I guess, the talks of the next steps before we know that that affiliate got cut?
So I made it up to mid-A, which is Greenville, and I was supposed to be there for the whole year, but Boston ended up trading Blake Swihart, and we ended up getting the number 2 or number 3 prospect for the Diamondbacks, I believe so, and he was an outfielder. So then after that, they moved one outfielder from every level, and then I was the guy for the mid-A to get moved down. So I went to short season ball. I was there until maybe 4 weeks before the season started. It was gonna end, so I was there, and then after that, it was my 5th year going in. So that following year I would have been in a Rule 5. So then, since I was in short A season, if you think about it, not a lot of teams are going to pick somebody up from Rule 5 because I was in short A. So what Boston did was they gave me my release, because if they would have never given me my release, they would have to give me a big league contract. And if they wouldn't have given me a big league contract, I could have sued them for a lot of money. So they were we're just going to give them the release.
Interesting. So was it not because the teams themselves got cut, or was it just the cut on your contract?
It was just a cut on my contract.
Okay. So Greenville and all those are still there then?
Greenville's there, but the Lowell Spinners, which is our short A season, they're not there no more.
Interesting.
So after you got released, what was the process like finding a new place to play? How did COVID play into all of this? Were you looking at indie leagues or talking with other affiliates? Or
so the crazy thing is, as soon as I got released, I went back home. I just worked out and trained like that, and I actually went to a Detroit Tigers workout. I hit BP for them, and I did my in and outs and stuff like that. And I was supposed to run the following day. I was supposed to run my 60, and they told me if I ran under a 6.4, they were gonna sign me on the spot. And I was running a 6.4 at the time, so I knew I was gonna sign with them. But the day that I was supposed to go run, COVID hit. That's when they cut COVID. So then that happened. So then the following year, I was gonna go play in the Frontier League with the Ottawa Titans. And 3 weeks before us actually going to the indie ball spring training, they shut the border down in Canada because of COVID.
You couldn't get into Canada. Yeah. Oh my goodness, dude. That's a crazy story.
Yeah.
It seems just like a lot of unfortunate timing throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't realize that was part of that story. That's crazy. So I guess at what point, how did you get in contact with anybody here? And what was, I guess, that journey like? And how'd you end up at the Mavericks League in Salem, Oregon?
So crazy thing is, Tony Holton, actually, he was supposed to go with me to Ottawa.
Okay.
And that since they closed down the border that year, he ended up coming to play here. And, you know, that first year that he played here, I was like, in my mind, I was thinking, like, maybe, you know, there's going to be another indie ball team in, like, the Frontier League that's going to pick me up because I got the numbers and stuff like that. But it ended up not happening. So then the following year, you know, which is this year, I was waiting for another indie ball team to pick me up. But, like, my agent, he was like, you know, you haven't played for 2 years. Like, people, like, they're scared to sign you because they probably think you can't hit in this level or still. So, you know, I hit up T-Hole, and I was like, hey, like, you know, is there some space on your team? And he was like, yeah, I'm going to talk to Tony Torcado, and I'm going to see if he wants to, like, you know, if he could bring you in. Yeah. You know, Tony saw my numbers. We talked, and now I'm here.
Yeah, I feel like that was probably a pretty easy signing for an outfielder. Yeah, we'll take him. I guess we could take a spot.
So are you talking to affiliates now, or what's the next step after the Mavericks League this season?
So right now, you know, there's been some indie ball teams in the Frontier League that's, you know, we have been in contact with, and, you know, so hopefully we'll see what happens there. And then I've heard there's been some teams, like some MLB teams, watching these games and watching us play. So, you know, hopefully somebody comes up and, you know, we could talk and see what happens.
Yeah. So, do you still have the same agent? Do you have an agent at all right now? How does that work?
I don't have the same agent as when I signed.
Okay.
I have a new one, but I still have the same one that helped me find the Frontier League team and stuff like that.
That's crazy.
So now, like, onto the playing side of it a little bit more. Who do you, like, study? A lot of hitters study a certain MLB guy, you know, train their swing after them. What guys do you shape your game after?
So it's crazy. This is actually gonna be like really, really crazy. So like outfield wise, this is gonna like you guys are gonna be like, wow. Outfield wise, I really used to like Sammy Sosa.
Okay.
Like
defensively,
like it's just not as in like outfield, like just the way he played out there, like just having fun and stuff like that. Sammy Sosa, but like if you want to say defensively, I'll probably go with Buxton.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
I'll probably go with Buxton, and then hitting. Wow. Probably it would be Tatis.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, I was thinking him or Mookie, because you mentioned Mookie too. I feel like I see a little bit of both of them, like in your swing and how you attack the baseballs. So you mentioned did you play with Bo Bichette? Is that what you were saying? He was your shortstop?
Yeah, he was our so we used to play with each other like when we were 12.
That's
from
crazy.
12 like we were supposed to go to the same high school and everything, but he ended up moving to Tampa. So but we still played in the same travel ball team.
Wow. So I guess that was one of our other questions. I was going to ask if there was anybody like in the affiliated process that you played with that maybe's moved up into the bigs now, but is there like anybody from at any level that you've played with that's now kind of close to the show or in the show?
So I played with Bo Bichette, and then I played with Santiago Espinal, which is their second baseman.
Yeah.
So when he got drafted, he was actually with the Red Sox. That was my roommate my first year. And then they ended up trading him there, and now he's in the big leagues. Riley Green, the center fielder for the Tigers. Mm-hmm. He played in the same travel ball team as me, but he also played like one of our rival high schools. He went there, and then they brought up the shortstop for he's a middle infielder. They just brought him up yesterday. The Braves, Bond. He's the kid that hit the home run yesterday for the Braves. Yeah.
Oh, he was brought up. I saw
they brought him up yesterday
from Double A, right?
Yeah,
he made the jump. Yeah.
So he played the same travel ball team as me, but he was also at that. He also played with Riley Green at that high school team.
Wow.
And then Ryan Mountcastle.
Yeah.
Played with Mountcastle. And
where
then,
at? What level?
Travel ball.
Travel ball teams are stacked.
And then when I was on the B team I was on the B team for FTB, and then Nick Gordon was on the A team as well.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
What is going on in Florida, dude?
Yeah, what's in the water down there?
That's wild. That's a lot of names too. That wasn't just like I was like Bo Bichette.
Yeah. Oh, and I used to hit BP a lot with Jesse Winker.
Okay.
Because he's an Orlando guy too.
Yeah. Big M's guy over here. Lucas is,
So like any level, spring training as well. What's like the craziest pitcher you faced? Like, because I'd imagine you faced some good ones in spring training.
Craziest pitchers I faced is, Familia, the one that was with the Mets. He used to be the closer for the Mets.
Urias.
Yeah. I actually faced him on his rehab assignment.
Wow.
How was that?
I struck out 3 pitches. It was disgusting. And then I almost I was probably a ball away from facing Chris Sale in spring training. Yeah.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't.
That would have
fun.
been scary.
Yeah. Well, you're right-handed too. It would have been really scary, but at least you don't have that lefty slider going out.
With the ball coming from behind you.
Yeah, exactly. Looks like it's So you're injured right now. If you feel comfortable answering what's going on with your wrist.
So last Friday versus the Campesinos, there was a low ball in center field. I went to go dive for it, and I kind of hyperextended my wrist.
Yeah.
So then I kept on playing with it, and the following day I woke up and my hand was swollen. I couldn't even move it. Sat down those 2 days, tried to come back to play versus the Mavericks, and we had a hit and run. It was inside pitch, and I kind of swung at it funky, and it was just, I felt sharp pain go up. And, G was going to take me out, but I told him, I promised him, too, that I was going to get a hit, and I ended up getting a double with, one-handed swing. But I felt the pain again, and I was I had to come out the game.
Yeah. It's funny, too, because I remember we talked after that game because the Yakkertech, unfortunately, didn't pick up your exit velo because it was too low of a hit. But it looked like it was a hot shot down the line. And then you're like, yeah, I swung one-handed. I was like, dude. That's hopefully you're back soon. Nurse it. We got good trainers here. I think so. The season stats so far speak for themselves. I think you got a pretty good resume to be able to put in front of people. But
who's been the toughest pitcher in this league that you've had to face off against?
I'm not gonna lie, Carsey.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't know what it is.
Is it the slider?
I think it's a slider, but he also throws a cutter, and it's kind of weird. But it's just I can't read it off of his hands.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the hardest person.
That makes sense.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid answer. That slider was cooking. You didn't end up playing that game last Sunday, but
it looked good.
Yeah,
it looked good from the
going. Yeah,
we were actually talking about that in the dugout because we were that was the only pitch he was actually throwing that was effective. So we were just lay off of that and try to make him throw fastballs.
Yeah. Well, it was funny, too, because then Jared Bell really settled in. His slider started working. So it was 2 guys just dotting sliders all of a sudden. It was crazy. So what's the I guess your thought process stealing base. This was interesting. I really want to know this because I've talked to a bunch of different people on how they go about stealing a base. That was just something I wanted to pick your brain about. So what are you looking for?
It's crazy. So with lefties, there's some people that know this, but there's not a lot of people that know this. But with lefties, if they're going to go to first base, their back foot moves up.
Interesting.
So, if you don't, for me, if I don't see that back foot move up, I know they're going home.
Wow.
So then with righties, it's just, I just try to read that front foot.
Yeah.
As soon as I see it go up, I know I'm gone.
Yeah. Yeah, because, Ricky Henderson, because I feel the feet is a pretty solid read on righties if you watch that front heel. Ricky Henderson used to say he would watch the hips, which I've tried to think about. I feel doesn't make any sense unless you really know what you're looking for. He obviously did. He's best base stealer of all time. But yeah, he said hips, and I was just how does that even work?
But I learned about the whole back foot thing because, once again, when I was in Fort Myers in rookie ball, Kevin Kiermaier was doing a rehab assignment.
Wow. And
he was actually, they pegged him his first at bat, and they were talking to our pitcher, and he was talking to our first base coach, and he told us about that left foot, the whole the whole back foot on a lefty. If it comes up, it's gonna go to first. If it doesn't, he's going straight home.
So weird. Yeah, stealing on a lefty, I can imagine, is very difficult.
Yeah, that's a cool insight. I love this question. What's your best single game performance at any level? Little League, travel ball, affiliated ball, Mavs League?
I actually have 2.
Okay.
So back when it was 12U. I was 4 home runs. I remember that. It's something I'm never gonna forget.
That's crazy.
And then it was my second year, and I was in rookie ball and actually went 5 for 6, and I was a home run away from a cycle.
Ooh. So you've done that a few times this year too.
Yes.
But it hasn't been the home run. You've been a double shy,
It's been a double or triple shy. Yeah,
it's crazy. Those are pretty solid days, I would say, at the plate for you. I know Lucas loves this one, but I'm gonna ask it. If you had a time machine, could go back and see any MLB moment in person, what would it be?
Any?
Yeah,
in history.
Yeah, in history, MLB history.
Oof. Just probably the Red Sox and Yankees rivals.
Mm-hmm.
Like those games, like obviously when Pedro and David Ortiz and Manny were on the Red Sox and Jeter and all them.
Yeah.
Probably those, because I know those games were intense.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that was two pretty stacked lineups
Yeah.
between the two at that time. You got A-Rod and Jeter and Ortiz and Manny and Pedro. Yeah, dude. It's a pretty solid one.
Who's the funniest guy in the Volcanoes clubhouse? I think I know the answer, but I'm gonna see who it is.
Jose.
Yeah.
Jose's
That's what Matt
it
McDowell
has-
said.
It has to be Jose. Because
so
like
funny.
you'll be in the clubhouse and you don't know what he's gonna come up with. It's
Yeah.
either something in Spanish or it's something in English. and if it's in English, you'll sit there and you'll think about it, and then like maybe like 15 minutes later you'll actually understand like what he was trying to say actually.
That's so funny, dude. That's hilarious that we've had two of the
Yes.
same answers.
Yes.
It's been Jose both times. How's the team chemistry in general? Because I feel like every time we end up stopping by in the clubhouse, you guys are just having a good time.
It's a pretty chill clubhouse.
Yeah.
Like we all get along with each other. You know, we goof around sometimes. Sometimes we're in there quiet, focused. It's just, we're a pretty chill group.
Yeah,
I really
seems
like it.
Yeah. That's how you get 8 All-Stars in the All-Star
Yeah.
game.
I mean, we got a couple music questions now.
Mm-hmm.
I think you knew this was coming. Pre-game, what's on the playlist? What are you bumping?
Ooh, for me, it just depends on my mood. If I'm in
Okay.
a chill mood, I'm probably like this is gonna be really weird. But if I'm in a chill mood, I'm probably like listening to The Weeknd or something.
Okay.
Nice.
But if I'm like hype, I'll probably listen to like Lil Baby, Migos, or like it's my Spanish playlist as
Yeah.
well.
All right. This is a non-baseball related. But let's say you're out. Maybe some people want to sing some karaoke. What's your go-to karaoke song?
My goat.
If you had to
If
do
you
one.
had to choose one,
If I had to choose
yeah.
one, wow.
What are you singing?
This is you're not gonna expect this from me, but probably some Luke Combs.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Are you gonna get the country accent in there while you're singing?
A little sometimes.
Yeah, a little
sometimes.
twang to it. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Depends on how long the night's been.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. How many beverages have been consumed?
Yup.
Yeah. So, you got anything else on the Q&A?
Yeah. Tony Torquato played in the show. He's your guys' manager. What insights has he given you? What kind of advantage do you have playing with a guy like that?
Advantages is I think he's a player's coach, so he knows what we go through. Obviously, like in the game, like when calls are not going our way or like we feel fatigued, like we're tired and stuff like that. He obviously knows what's going on. So I think that really helps. That really helps us as a clubhouse and a team. And some stuff that he probably has helped me with is just taking it day by day. Not not trying to rush it or thinking about the next game, just taking it day by day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty solid. That's a good answer. I feel like that, in a way, like what you were saying too, I feel like he also not only knows what you guys are going through, but he'll defend you guys too on calls.
Oh,
if
most
something-
definitely, yeah.
Like he'll go out there, and that's something you want to see as a player too, is that, it's a bad call because you were there watching it, but to have your manager come out and kind of help back you up on that, that's got to feel good. So what's your goals after the Mavericks day? I know we kind of touched on it briefly, but I mean, what are you thinking?
I mean, hopefully I can sign with another affiliate ball, but if not, probably just go to another indie ball team and try to put up numbers there as well, and then see where it goes on from there.
Yeah, kind of move up the indie ball ranks a little bit. Yeah, makes sense. You guys got a pretty big series. I feel like at this point in the season, every series is
Yes,
big.
with how tight the standings are.
Yeah, do you want to read the standings off real quick? You got them?
Yep, so we got the Mavs in first place, a game ahead of the Volcanoes. Volcanoes are in second place. And then the Camps and Senators are tied for third, 1.5 games back. So it's a weekend away from getting real crazy.
Yeah. Not even that. It's like 2 games away from getting crazy. Yeah. And this weekend is nuts. So you guys are taking on the Senators, but instead of a 3-game series, we've got a 4-game series, 2 of which are going to be 7-inning games. I think that's how that works. I don't really know how the rescheduling's on, but we had rainouts early in the season. So those are getting made up now because the race is so tight. What do you think is going to be a key for you guys this weekend to really get the job done? Because you are missing some key players. So what's something that, you guys got to do well, or what's a key for your guys' success this weekend?
I think big thing is, our bullpen arms, obviously, because it's 4 games. So we got to take care of our bullpen arms. But also, like, as a hitting standpoint on the field, just taking care of the small things.
Yeah.
We take care of the small things, or we take advantages of other teams' errors and stuff like that, I think we should be straight.
Yeah.
Because, I have faith in all my teammates, so it's pretty much I think we'll be fine.
Yeah. We talk about that. We'll do like a little pregame show. And we talk about like the keys to the game. And for the last like 2-3 weeks, for me, anytime you guys have played, it's been base running and fielding.
Oh yeah,
because like the hitting's there, the pitching's there. It's just if you clean up the errors a little bit and then don't run into outs, because that during your little skid, that seemed to be what was happening. You guys were just running into outs. But yeah, that's a pretty solid key. 4 games is definitely going to be interesting this weekend. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, bullpens are going to be tested this weekend.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Starters. It's going to be really important to get the other team's starters out early, I think, especially in a 4-game set, because that bullpen can be hurting by the end.
100%, especially like in games 1 and 2, very quickly. And I mean, the fact that it's the 7-inning games are there, it helps a little bit, but you can still touch up some teams. So Campesinos, they're taking on the Mavericks. They also have 4 games, same thing. I guess, who do you see taking that series and why?
Right now, I think the Mavericks take that series because of the whole, like I said, like the whole, Campesinos, their chemistry.
Yeah.
If they have chemistry, it could be an upset.
Yeah.
But, Mavericks, they've been playing as a team, and, so they have that chemistry there. So I have them taking that series.
And the Mavericks, I feel like fundamentally, like at their core, they've had a lot of the same guys since the start. They haven't brought in too many. Like they have had a couple of guys sign late, but it's been pretty. I mean, that lineup looks very similar to the opening day lineup, which is pretty wild this deep into the season. You got anything else, Lucas?
Yeah, like personally on the field, what are your goals, maybe statistics wise, for the rest of the season?
Well, my goals, when hopefully I do come back and play this season, but just obviously trying to get hits every at bat, like try to get 2 or 3 hits every at bat that I play, like every game that I play, and just trying to help. And then obviously on the outfield standpoint, just trying to help out my pitcher, trying to make it easier for them, come out the innings quick and not make it long for them.
Have you always played outfield? Was that always your natural position, or?
No, I actually used to play infield a lot. I used to play second and short. But then, obviously playing with Bo, and, his dad was like, "You're fast enough, go play center." And then I just stayed there in the outfield.
Was his dad your coach?
Yeah.
Dante Bichette was your coach? That's crazy.
I'm not gonna lie. If I have to give like hitting credit to anybody, it's probably Bo's dad, Dante, because he helped me out a lot, and that's what that's made me the hitter I am today.
Yeah, I've seen clips of him on Twitter giving hitting lessons, and it's they're really insightful. It's pretty crazy.
No, yeah.
I mean, he's such a great hitter, obviously. It makes sense, but yeah. All right. Got anything for us? No?
Not really.
I got you, man. Well, we appreciate you coming on. Once again, it's JuanCarlos Abreu, center fielder for the Salem Kaiser Volcanoes. Personally, my pick for league MVP, but I think it's going to be a pretty close race. We got a couple of really good guys.
Yeah.
We got next week. Who's coming on next week? Well, we got to figure it out.
We're in talks with people.
Yeah, we had a guest lined up. We'll see if that one goes through or not.
It could be the Senators.
Yeah, we could flip it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We have a special surprise either next week or the week after coming in with the Senators, so that'll be a good one as well. JuanCarlos, we appreciate you coming on, man. Good luck the rest of the season. Good luck to the Volcanoes, and good luck in this series this weekend. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Clubhouse podcast, episode 5 now, and we'll see you next week for episode 6.